Men travel for a multitude of reasons. And you have always been completely honest of what you specifically travel for.
To
And
bust it up, Bossellini.
absolutely. And so this term is called mongering. Now, for those who don't know, explain what is mongering.
Right. So first of all, the term mongering, it's an old word. It's archaic, matter of fact. The word actually goes back to the 1500s, believe it or not. And so what it originally meant was for a man to be sexually promiscuous. Believe it or not, it wasn't even about a pay for play or consorting, with women of the night, paid prostitutes. It was literally like a Rolling Stone type of guy, a frolic man, a promiscuous man who sleeps with all the women in town, everybody's wives and daughters and everybody. He was just a promiscuous man, and that was called mongering or whoremongering. And even when you talk about whoring per se, that would even include the man. Like, so the man would like be whoring himself around. So it should be noted that in the original sense, and I'm gonna break it down to the nowadays, how we use it now in our common vernacular. But where it originated, it started with mongering was basically a man who was very overly sexually active, and he slept around town. He was a Rolling Stone type of deal. That's what mongering comes from. So now you get into the nowadays. So it's more so applied to the same thing. A man who sleeps around a lot, have a lot of sexual partners, a lot of sexual conquest, and that includes P for P, and even like for free, even on a romantic tick. Basically, a man who sleeps around a lot. So when we use it in the travel sense, that it's been known that when a lot of guys go on these trips, right? We're not there for a long time. Most of us is a vacation, a 2-week vacation, a 10-day vacation, 3 or 4 days. Shout out to the guys who expat. They have certain remote jobs nowadays. You can work online or whatnot, or your company sends you overseas where you can kind of put roots down, and you can be in country for like 3 months, 6 months, and like 60, 90 days or longer. But most of us, we travel for what? A vacation, 1 or 2 week or 10-day vacation. So in that short time span while we on vacation, frolicking, doing everything else, many of us, we interact with the local women of whatever country we're going to. So basically, we're whoring around, we're sleeping around, so we're mongering. Yes, nowadays that does include a fair bit of P for P in P for P legal places. Hello. Remember, every place is not America. Now America has laws against that, right? Against a direct form of payment with prostitution and whatnot. Interesting enough, I always say, even on my channel, interesting enough, even America has it in one state. So even then, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because if it was that bad, they wouldn't legalize it in Nevada. For whatever reason, the Mustang Ranch, shout out to the Mustang Ranch, is legal in America in one state. So that's very hypocritical. But outside of that, a lot of these other places, they don't play those type of games. It's just legal across the whole country. So the guys go to places where that type of activity is legal, and they participate, long as they obey all laws, be a good conduct. But men will be men, boys will be boys. They were frolic, they were whore around, and they were what? They were monger.
Got it, man. And which leads me to my second question. So I'll leave you big. Now, what is the difference between play for play and mongering, if there is one?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They go into each other, right? But they're not mutually exclusive, because a monger can absolutely be pay for play. And now in a nowadays setting, unfortunately, when in our transactional society, everything is a freaking transaction. Most of the time, a lot of times, mongering will be a pay for play. But note, like I said originally, from the original word, when it first started in the 1500s, 1700s, Old English, it was a man who was sexually active, frolicking around many sexual partners, sexual conquest, a promiscuous man. So mongering does not necessarily have to mean pay for play. Now, in our modern day context, yeah. So basically, when you say it nowadays, especially in the form of traveling and in the majority of passport bros, when we go to these hotspot locations, and I want to say this, not to venture off too much, because the thing is too, you have to trip that a lot of the guys who we go to certain locations for that, right? So, you're not, so certain places are known to be known hotspots for a red light district, for nightlife, for that type of mongering, if you will. In places where it's totally allowed, it's totally legal there, and is known for that, a lot of guys tend to go there. Outside of your more traditional touristy destinations, like would be in Europe, like if you go to France and you go to Rome, you go to Italy, the Eiffel Tower, you go to Egypt to see the pyramids. But when guys go to certain destinations, right? When they go to, shout out to the Dominican Republic, beautiful island. But when they go to certain spots in the Dominican Republic, right? When they go to certain, shout out to Thailand, a nice big Asian country. But when they concentrate and go to Pattaya and Soy 6, right? So shout out to Brazil, giant country. But when they go directly to Rio Copacabana, so guys who like I say, don't watch what they say, watch what they do. And more importantly, watch where they go, right? Because you're going to go most of the time, you talk a good game, you talk all this, I don't do this, I don't do that. That's you guys. When we look at your flight itinerary, look at your hotel Airbnb, you look at where you go. Where are you going? Right to the hot spot. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we're going to break that down a little later. But yeah, to answer your question, is there a difference? Is there a difference, or what difference is P for P, pay for play, and mongering? They go hand in hand, and they're not mutually exclusive, because again, mongering is just literally the fact of sleeping around, having a lot of options, a lot of sexual partners, sexual conquest, being a promiscuous man, sleeping around. But nowadays, that most likely will include some type of payment, because everything is so damn transactional nowadays. And so shout out to whoever said it first on YouTube. We speak in our certain code words sometimes, speed dating, because that's literally what it is. It's literally speed dating. You're getting to the good stuff. You're getting to the good part, especially again on a short vacation, 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks. You're not there for a month. You're not there for 60 or 90 days. You're not an expat who's living there part-time. You're not even a remote worker that's working online. You're there for a very short vacation. You're not there for a long time, but you're there to have a good time. So in that regards, then with the mongering, to speed up the process, so to speak, comes into P for P in your mongering. So you can monger without pay, but payment make it quicker. Oh man.
Hey man, well, thank you for the clarification, because I had the thought process that mongering really just meant like that guys were really just running through a bunch of streetwalkers, if you will, or escorts, whatever, right? That was my assumption.
Well, yeah, you're funny, but like I say, it's like I forget that mathematical equation, like where blah blah. I'm gonna mess it up, but so it can include that, but it's not only that. Mongering, right. When you go back to the original word, mongering means sleeping around. Period. Okay. Not just with sleepwalkers, not just with hookers and women of the night and prostitutes and streetwalkers. Even regular, normal chicks, normal women. A man being promiscuous, sleeping around town, sleeping with everybody's wives, everybody's daughters. A man that's known to to be a Rolling Stone, a promiscuous man. That's actually mongering. Even outside, away from the P for P. Mongering is a man sleeping around.
Okay.
But
thank you for
when we add it with the travel stuff, obviously 1 + 1 = 2.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, thank you for the clarification. Because as I mentioned, like I thought it was just strictly like guys just, dishing out and having like a whole bunch of, yeah, like threesomes, getting with like 4 or 5 women a day. So I was like, well, damn. All right.
That's included. That is included under the umbrella. And so
Right.
and that's what we're going to break that down
Okay.
later. The different flavors, the different layers, the different levels to this, right? Because it's definitely not a monolith. It's not a monolith. But I guess we got to start big, and then we got to kind of unpack it, right? From the macro to the micro. But yes, it includes that. Again, it's a man being very sexually liberated, sexually free, a lot of partners. So it absolutely can include that. It can include that. But it really just means a man that sleeps around, basically unrestricted. You're a monger. You're a whoremonger. You're whoring yourself out. You're sleeping with whores. You're a whore, even to the point where, not you, but to the point that you're sleeping around, you're spreading yourself. Then that's traditionally. And I want to say real fast that that term was always meant in a negative term, right? It was meant to be negative for shame. Again, 1600s. The thing was always, even now, but the thing was always for society to push the traditional marriage, man and a woman marriage relationship. Anything outside of that, society frowns upon. And so, depending on what time period, what time area, what country, society will put certain pressures on the men to conform, right? So that was a very big shaming tactic, a shaming name to call a man a monger. It was to try to shame him to change his ways so he would just go marry one woman and stop sleeping with everybody's wives, right? So it was always a negative term.